Joining me now to discuss all of this on set is Faiz Shakir, former Bernie Sanders campaign manager and current senior advisor to the Vermont senator, Republican strategist Jim Dornan, and USA Today Washington bureau chief Susan Page. Thanks to all of you for being here. Susan, let me start with you. Open it up. How big of a deal is this? You have top Republicans, Senator Lindsey Graham, on a long list saying we not only stand by Herschel Walker, we plan to campaign with him.
Well, they don't really have an option. It's too late to replace him on the ballot. If you want to continue to compete in this very close race, it's Herschel Walker or nobody. Now, this can't possibly be helpful to Herschel Walker to have these allegations out there. Right. But what's maybe more stunning is that it may not be crippling for him. We have seen new rules that Donald Trump has brought to politics. So it is possible that he survives.
Well, Jim, weigh in on that point. You have a lot of Republicans comparing this to the Access Hollywood tape, speaking about how things changed in the Trump era. That was a huge scandal that engulfed the Trump campaign at the time. He survived it, and he was emboldened by it, galvanized his supporters around it. Could we see that happen here?
Absolutely. But if the shoe was on the other foot, you'd have cries of hypocrisy coming from the right like crazy right now. And this is also, I mentioned this to Susan earlier, this is why you vet your candidates before you put all your eggs in one basket with them. But I agree with Susan as well that they have to do this right now. It's 5 weeks out, and he's the only game in town, and we need that seat if we're going to take control of the Senate.
Faiz, how are Democrats viewing this? And strategically speaking, what do you think they should be doing to capitalize on this? Are they doing it because Raphael Warnock is saying, look, I'm not going to delve into this. I am going to stress I've long supported abortion rights, though. Right.
Well, so there's a policy issue of abortion, and then there's a fundamental character value of honesty. And I think that that's what this brings to play, is because Herschel Walker is seemingly trying to avoid talking about it in any kind of honest way or reconcile with it. We have a debate coming up in which he'd presumably have to be asked about it directly and try to answer what the hell happened here. But I think it goes to, I think what you will see is the Warnock campaign try to make a campaign out of deceit and dishonesty. I mean, it's one thing to have things that you feel like in your past you were wrong, but can you own up to them? That's part of reconciliation. That you say, hey, this is what I did and I'm apologetic for, and here's what happened.
That's part of what was notable about what we heard from Herschel Walker today. He has categorically denied these latest allegations, but he's quite clear that he has made mistakes, Jim, in his past. I mean, you have his son coming out making these very dramatic statements, and Herschel Walker saying, I love my son no matter what. Yes, I have made mistakes. And he says now he's quote unquote redeemed. That is his word.
Well, actually, the quote about his son was amazing to me because that was exactly the right thing to say. And yes, he has kind of asked for forgiveness on a couple of the other things. He wasn't exactly honest about those things before this campaign started. As soon as people started digging, they started finding these things out. And, you know, it's, I guess, part of growing into being a candidate. But learning on the job is never a good idea.
Well, and Susan, you also have this specific strategic move by Herschel Walker in these interviews, which is to pivot quite forcefully to what he wants to be talking about. At the top of that list is crime, and Republicans are now really focusing on that issue. Democrats are focused on the issue of abortion, largely. Strategically speaking, do you think that that's something in these closing weeks of the campaign that benefits Herschel Walker, who's quite embattled right now, but these other races that are incredibly tight?
Yeah, crime has proved to be a good issue for Republicans. People are concerned about crime. There's a mixed record on crime, but clearly crime is a growing problem in a lot of places. And with gas prices easing a little bit, although we'll see if they go back up with this latest action by OPEC, inflation doesn't cut quite as much as it was cutting there for a while. Crime is a big issue, and immigration, I think, the other one of the three issues that Republicans most want to talk about. It would be those three.
What we're fighting is this notion that politics is just about entertainment. And that's, I think, what helps people like Carrie Lake and Herschel Walker as I'm here just to kind of entertain you. And we're fighting this notion. There's deep cynicism with a lot of people who are hurting out there, and they say, what the hell is the government going to do for me? Like, what is Herschel Walker going to do for crime? He's not going to do anything, but he's going to talk about it. We're fighting this notion that say politics means something. You hire and select for people who have competence and know what they're getting into. And I think just on the merits of that test, you've got a candidate who clearly running for Georgia who has no idea. And in fact, is campaigning on, I've had mental health problems. I'm not sure, that I'm all there all the time. And you're like, well, this is a job that requires you to be there all the time.
And I guess the question is, how compelling is this argument on the issue of crime in these closing weeks? Because you're seeing it in the Pennsylvania Senate race against John Fetterman, against Mandela Barnes as well. I mean, Jim, are you confident that this is something that they should be focusing on, particularly when issues like inflation, as Susan's talking about, abortion, have become more prominent?
Absolutely. If this is exactly what I would be advising, too, because people are home and watching the local news. If you were here in D.C. yesterday, you watched the local news, the first 6 stories on one of the local stations were crime, carjacking, murders, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's what people are seeing every single night. And whereas, yes, there's not a real connection between federal elections and local crime, that's what the Republicans are messaging right now. And actually, I think it's brilliant because it has turned the corner in places like Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. And it very well could in a couple of other states that are not on the radar screen right now.
Some of it's self-inflicted by Democrats with the message, defund the police.
Right,
that has been something that Democrats in competitive races have had to deal with over and over again.
Faz, is that a mistaken messaging that continues to haunt Democrats? I mean, the president was very early in his campaign distanced himself from that messaging because he knew it wasn't a winning message.
Right, and that in any good, safe community that prospers and Democrats advocate for economic thriving of communities, you have to have safety, you have to have security. And if once the people start to feel like government, who's, by the way, is supposed to be executor of laws, right? That is your job. You maintain the safety and security of people in this country. Once they start to feel like you may not believe in the critical mission of the job, then you got a fundamental problem. So I do think that most Democrats, you have to make an argument that I understand that part of the job is providing safety and security for the American public. We may disagree on how best to do that, how to allocate dollars and cents so that it is doing that, but you got to nail it right on, make people convinced, I am here for your safety and security.
Let's talk a little bit of fundraising. We were talking about Mandela Barnes. He announced, and I'm going to just read this so I don't mess up the numbers, a huge third quarter fundraising haul, $20 million last quarter compared to $2 million the quarter before. Susan, what do you make of these numbers? Is it enough for him to take over Johnson?
Well, money that Johnson had enabled Republicans to make the case against Mandela Barnes and drive up his negative ratings. And so now money is going to enable Mandela Barnes to respond to that. There is just so much money sloshing around the system now. We've just never seen spending like this. If you're in a swing state, turn off the TV because all you're going to see are ads for both sides.
Yeah, Jim, we're seeing Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania also bring in some huge numbers, 17 million.
Yeah, I'm amazed. I mean, the Democrats have been outraising us for a couple of cycles now, and I think we've finally realized that we're behind the 8 ball on it, and I think that we've done a better job. But I mean, I tell you what, they're going to have the money at the end, and that may be the difference, especially.
So will you, though?
Well, hopefully now, but I think that I've been saying this out to you guys before we got here that the unknown factors trump, and that money may not have anything to do with. I mean, may not be able to overcome that if on our side, if he creates problems for us.
There's such a change in politics over the past 3 or 4 decades, at least during my lifetime. It used to be that people, if you wanted to run for office, Susan, you held events with real people. And nowadays, you don't hold events with real people. It is rare that you would do a town hall. And at this point in time, when you see those ads, what it means is like there's an incredible corporate influence, there's incredible influence of large money. And now campaigns, if you want to run for office, it just means, can you raise money to run TV ads? And that's about it. I need to make calls for TV ads, and it makes politics disconnected from real people, which I think is the fundamental problem that we're all dealing with.
All right, well, on that note, we will leave it. Great discussion. Thanks to all of you for being here, Faz, Jim, and Susan. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.